As extreme weather and wildfires sadly become more and more common, corporate America and its workers are also bracing for long-standing impacts from smoke for decades to come. Diana Olick explains in her continuing series on the rising risks from climate change.
From Las Vegas to New York City to Midwest metros in between, smoke from wildfires in Canada and the U.S. West is disrupting lives and impacting livelihoods. We won't know the full financial impact of this summer's smoke until it clears, but we do know that wildfire smoke reduced earnings in the U.S. by an average of $125 billion a year between 2007 and 2019, or nearly 2% of annual labor income, according to a study by researchers at the universities of Illinois and Michigan. Co-author Mark Borgschulte says those numbers are rising with the effects of climate change.
The events that we've seen in the last few months are 2 to 10 times as large as the events that we have in our study.
Even 1 or 2 days with smoke, he says, can also trigger lasting employment losses, and hourly workers without paid leave are particularly at risk.
Substantial share of workers, if they don't show up for a job, they're gonna lose that job. Declines in their firm's productivity or their ability to come to work can then be passed on to those workers in the form of lower earnings that aren't possible to make up.
That risk is not lost on major public companies employing thousands of workers globally. Amazon already had air quality protocols in place on the West Coast, like air scrubbers in warehouses, but this summer in Chicago, they were sending N95 masks to drivers, cutting routes short, and issuing alerts to employees to return home if they felt unwell.
We are going to have to change the way we think. These events are not going to decrease. They are likely going to increase. What we are learning is that data is power. We are finding as the more data we have, the better we can react and the quicker we can respond.
Minnesota-based ECOLAB, which ironically helps large companies reduce their environmental impacts, saw 4 times the number of smoke warnings this summer than usual. Jeff BURT, Senior VP of Health, Safety and Environment, said they may now use strategies they learned when COVID hit.
We had to form teams, we had to follow data, science, and develop precautions, processes, methods. We will do the exact same if the wildfire smokes continue throughout the U.S. and in other areas as well.
Now, employee safety is obviously of utmost importance, but companies are going to have to start focusing on their own bottom lines, looking at their earnings and potential losses, not just to their employees, but also to investors. Back to you guys.
Yeah, and I'm curious, what the full impact of that will be over time, Diana.
Yeah, it's hard to say. Look, this has been a very strange summer because we saw the smoke come very early from Canada, whereas our wildfire season actually started later because we had a wet spring and winter, and now we have possibly a lot more ahead this year.
Fair point. Diana Olick, thank you so much. We appreciate it.